Well, hey everybody, my name is Krista Dial of KristaDial.com, beauty, business, and lifestyle, and who knows what else. Sometimes I post about other things that I enjoy, like Nashville and nail tips, which that would fall in the beauty category, right? But anyway, a big part of what I share on KristaDial.com is business, because I do have my own virtual business, and I really enjoy connecting with other entrepreneurs, specifically in the virtual business world, to talk about what's working for them, what's not working with them, and just talk shop. So I'm going to be starting an interview series. I'm really excited to share my first interview for this video is with one of my very dear friends. Her name is Camille Jones, and she and I are both actually in the same company. We have so much fun helping people look good and feel good in their skin and also make some great money while doing it. So I'm just going to jump right in and let Camille tell us a little bit about herself. I do want to share that she and I work super close. We've known each other now for, gosh, Camille, how long has it been? I guess 3 or 4 years. Yeah, it has been a while, and we just have so much fun working together. That's what I love about having a virtual business is, so she and I both, it's like a virtual franchise that we both work with in this anti-aging skincare industry, and it's so much fun when you can work with people that you really enjoy working with, and turn those great business relationships into super fun friendships as well. So Camille, thank you for joining us for my entrepreneur interview series, and please tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to start a virtual business.
Well, thank you, Krista, first of all, for the opportunity. It's been exciting to get to interview for you. So I'm originally from Nashville, which is actually how Krista and I met. I was a social worker, also did some mental health work and some case management and crisis management. So that is actually my background. And I loved the job. I did not like the pay or the time that I had to spend doing that particular career. I felt like I was working, 40, 50, 60-hour weeks and being on call and things like that. And so I didn't have a whole lot of freedom to do the things that I wanted to do. And so I originally was just sort of looking for some different options. I thought maybe the answer was to go back to school and maybe try a different degree or get a master's degree. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized there wasn't much security in that either, especially in this economy. And so I was just sort of, had my feelers out for some type of opportunity that would get me where I wanted to be. So the company that I'm with now kind of just fell in my lap. I was introduced to it by a complete stranger who was wonderful, gave me all the information I needed, and what I really loved about the idea of owning my own company and doing it basically online on my own terms, make my own money, that part was really exciting to me. So that's initially what brought me on board for doing a business that I never would have thought I would have done, but just it was the right timing for me, and I think that was very important.
Fabulous. So how long at this point have you had a virtual business?
It's been going on 4 years, so I can't believe how fast time flies, but I have learned so much in those 4 years. It's been incredible.
Yeah, so over the course of 4 years, a lot can happen and a lot can change in even just 1 year, but over the course of 4 years, what obstacles would you say you have had to overcome to build your business?
I would say probably, just like you said, so much can happen in 1 year. And I had multiple life changes happen in the last 4 years. I got married. I moved to another state where I didn't know a single person. I just moved again about 8 months ago to another place where I didn't know anybody. And just life changes like that. Different career moves were happening for my husband as well. And, being away from friends and family during a lot of those changes was also hard. So those were a few obstacles, just typical life changes that happen. Personally, I think overcoming fear was a big obstacle. It's interesting when you talk to people and they express their fears. Fear of failure, fear of what other people think, and fear that it may or may not work. And I think just being able to try something new, I've always been that new girl that started a job, where we didn't know anything and we're scared to go to work. So we're like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think about me? Am I going to be able to do this? I don't know. And every time you overcome that, you end up getting in a better position. And so the big ones for me was overcoming just that fear of failure, overcoming the fear of, am I able to even do this? And overcoming the fear of what people might think about me, because the people that love you will absolutely support you. And the people that, are negative when you're trying to do something new and change where you're at and strive for a dream or a vision or something better for your life and your family, those people will eventually fall off. So you don't really want them in your life anyways.
Yeah.
Those are probably the biggest obstacles.
Okay, got it. And what, you touched on something just a second ago in terms of, asking yourself, is this going to work? And I'm just, I feel like you probably relate to this. So many people in our industry think that, when you have a virtual business, they're like, oh, is that thing going to work? Oh, you're doing that now. And, which I had a very similar mindset too, to be totally honest, before really educating myself about this industry and learning how it works, because it is completely different from a job. It is not an employment situation. So many people are used to trading time for money and, to say, well, when I show up here, I get X amount of dollars. And when you have a virtual business, it's very, very different. And, I would love for you to just share your perspective on how, you and I have both learned this, that it does work if you work it. And I think that's where so many people fail. They'll start a virtual business and they just think, well, this isn't working. It's not going where I want it to go. And I'm just, I haven't achieved the goal that I want to achieve yet. And you and I both know, because we've accomplished some big goals in our business, that when we work it, when we set our goals and we work those goals, that it works, and it's so exceptionally rewarding. So can you share a little bit of your perspective on that? Maybe, I know especially when you first get started, maybe it's kind of easy to have that mindset, but just in terms of, wow, this does work, but you have to make it work. You have to follow the system that, every virtual franchise is going to be different, and ours specifically, we actually have a really phenomenal getting started program. We have some great resources to use, and when you follow those tools and those resources and you follow the leaders, as they say, man, it absolutely works when you work it. So do you have anything to share on that?
Yes. I would say, I kind of just I guess I would say probably think about other types of businesses that people would start and then look at what they've done and model what they've done. I mean, for example, if you were to start a photography business, you would have to invest. You would have to buy a really nice camera. You would have to buy filters and lighting. You would have to buy business cards and marketing material. You would have to start talking to people. And it's all in your control. That's the beauty of this industry, is that if I want a pay raise next month, I just need to amp up my activity and who I'm sharing with and the people that I'm around. And I give myself a bonus. Just like in a photography business, you start out, you got a few clients, you might even do some free sessions to get the word out that you're actually really good. And I think, if somebody were to come up to me and say, hey, I'm starting a photography business, I would be like, oh, awesome, where's your card? And then they say, well, I don't have those yet because I'm waiting for it to work. And I'd be like, okay, well, do you have any examples of the fact that you are a photographer? Can I see some of your work? And they're like, oh no, I haven't invested in that yet because you know, I don't have the money yet, or I'm not really sure if it's going to work yet. You know, that wouldn't make any sense. So I think whichever company you're using and you choose, it's very important that you use and love the product, because you are you're a product of the product. And for me specifically, I love the skincare world simply because it's the first thing people see when they walk up to you. You only get one face, you know, and it's very, very, very important that we take care of that. So that to me made a lot of sense from a business standpoint, and it's also a huge industry. So, but just knowing what you're marketing, what it is that you're doing, the people that are using those products. You know, not everybody will use jewelry. You know, jewelry is specifically for women, so you've got to change that clientele. You know, knowing if you're doing kids books or whatever the company is, you know, you have a market for that. So just being diligent in what you're knowing the company that you're working with, following those leaders, you know, making sure they have an incredible training program for you. Those are all so, so important when you're looking to become successful. And just knowing that, you know, the biggest thing for me, I believe, really is your mindset. There's a quote called, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." And that's by Henry Ford.
I love that quote.
Oh, my favorite, because it's so true. What happens in our head and what we tell ourselves, and you know, just our mindset of, yes, I can do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make this work, was huge in my success, because so many people will tell you you can't. And if you start believing that negativity, it'll really bring you down. So I think those were just some of the things that have been really helpful for me as I've started and become successful at this, and learning the process and being okay to fail as well, being okay to make some mistakes, because we all do. It's the process of this. It's a journey that you're going on. And not everybody really is an entrepreneur, to be honest. You know, I didn't realize I was an entrepreneur until I tried it. And now I cannot even imagine having to clock into work somewhere. You know, I wake up on a Monday in my PJs, and I can either do some conference calls or some skin consultations, or, you know, I can go to a business meeting or a networking event, or I can clean my house and do my laundry. It really is up to me. And so you're exchanging something for something better, in my opinion. And so you have to want those things, and you have to find out what's important to you. And are you willing to work? Are you willing to try something new, to have something different?
Absolutely. I love that, Camille. Thank you for sharing. And I think, you know, so many people, I mean, again, just like what we just talked about, when you work it, it works. And I talk with so many people, because, guys, so I do have a full-time job that I love. I'm actually in that very rare situation where I love my job. If you ask most people walking down the street, they would say, "Oh, it's okay, it pays bills." I have so much fun, and I'm actually, in my daytime gig, I work with a company that I have just admired for years and years, and I do my virtual business alongside it. So in my non-daytime hours and my non-full-time job hours, that is when I work my virtual business. And the freedom and flexibility that my virtual business has provided us has been phenomenal. And I talk with so many people who think, "Oh, well, I don't have 20 or 30 or 40 hours a week to put into, you know, earning some extra income." And what I always tell people, I mean, there are people who are making more working 5 to 10 hours a week in their virtual business than they made working 40 hours a week in a previous employer. And so what I always tell people is, you know, you just work with the time you have, work with what you've got, and you just never know, working those, you know, couple 5, 8, maybe 10 hours a week here or there, truly what it can blossom into. I know you and I, Camille, like when we work this, it doesn't really feel like work. Like, so often we just kind of feel like we're hanging with friends. And I know for me, that's one of my most rewarding parts of my virtual business. So you've been doing this for 4 years. You've shared a little bit about your some of the obstacles that you've overcome, and kind of what has held people back here or there, what you think holds people back. So tell me, what has been the most rewarding part of your virtual business?
Well, and I actually just touched on what you just said as far as time goes, because that was a real concern of mine, being too busy and being on call 24/7. I never knew when I was going to get a phone call to distract me and take me away. But what I've realized is we all have the same 24 hours in our day. And we all make time for what's important to us. And so to me, that time freedom, that extra income to pay off debt, the ability to be able to have children and come home from work and have those options, and having choices to be able to take a vacation if I want to, or to, give to a charity that I've been wanting to give to, or sponsor a child in another country. That was so important to me that I was able to change how I was using my time to fit this in, because it was that important to me. And, you wouldn't believe how many people, how much time we waste on a typical day, Facebook, Instagram, TV, sitting in traffic, all kinds of different ways we actually do waste time. And so it's just being more strategic in what we're doing and making sure that it's important. Why would you do something like this? And, I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan, and he says, you got to live like no one else so that later you can live like no one else. And so it's a sacrifice for a small amount of time for a huge reward down the way. So just want to throw that in there. But rewarding, oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how rewarding it is, because it just, everything, it just keeps getting better, actually. Probably one of the biggest things was just learning what I'm capable of, knowing that I'm capable of doing way more than I ever thought, just with myself and my career. I've tripled my income from, being a social worker, and that just blows my mind, really. It's such a blessing, and we've paid off all, the debt that we have, and now we're able to give like we've never been able to give before, and so that is incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. Also, just the friendships and the support. I feel like, I have friends in every state and now in other countries, because of this bond and because of a company that really is changing things for women and empowering women and men to be able to just give and live like no one else. And I just think that that's so inspiring to me, and that's so rewarding. And then I would say the trips. I've always wanted to travel the world, and it's the most rewarding thing to get to go on a trip that you have earned and that's completely free for you and your husband or kids or, whatever. We're able to tax deduct our trips even, if we do have to travel somewhere that's not a paid for incentive trip. And that's incredibly rewarding to be able to see how other cultures live and go to other states and just travel. I mean, it's awesome. So those are just a few of the rewards that I think that this has offered me and been able to give me.
Love it. Fabulous. Well, tell me what, you and I both have learned a lot since we have started our virtual businesses. What would you say are your top 3 tips for someone who is exploring starting a virtual business or looking at different companies that are out there? What 3 tips would you give someone who is looking to get started with a virtual business in the very near future?
Yeah, I would say 100% probably the number one thing would be your mindset. No matter what you do, you've got to make a decision that you're going to try and you're going to give it all you have. And with that mindset, then you can look at the different opportunities that are presented to you and really look at the people that have presented them to you. Are they somebody you admire? Are they somebody that you trust? And then is the company they're presenting, is it reputable? Is it debt free? Does it have a reputation? I just said reputable. Does it have a reputation? Is it something that you can see being around for 10 or 20 years? Because you don't want to be a part of something that really is just a really fast type of company that comes in and out with a product that nobody's heard of and then they kind of go away. You want to be with something that really does have a backbone and really has a lot of press coverage and a lot of people, outside the industry saying that it's legitimate and saying that it is a great business and a great product. I would say being coachable, that is huge in this industry, because let me tell you, I did not know what I was doing at all when I started. I mean, I literally had no clue and had that panic of, I had just ordered these products and I had started something new and I was like, what have I done? But being coachable and just listening to the leaders and making sure that leader who you've joined knows what they're doing and is able to show you the way and give you step-by-step instructions on how to make this successful, and then being willing to learn, because a lot of times, this isn't like anything else I've ever done. And so if I would have just said, well, I know what I'm doing and I'm going to do it my way, I probably wouldn't have been near as successful as I have been, because there is a system that works. And just knowing how to make it easy and just sharing a story is a big deal, and that being coachable when you're learning at the beginning will go so far. I still feel like I'm coachable. I will always be coachable in my business because I want to learn from the best of the best of the best. And it's gotten me this far, and so I will always have that coachable spirit. And then I would also say be patient and give it time. A lot of people think, oh, this is going to happen overnight. In 1 month, I'm going to be making all of this money. And those are technically, not good situations. There is nothing in life that's free. And so anything that is promising something outside of hard work and a smart business model is probably not going to get you very far. And so it amazes me that I've done this for 4 years, and I still have people who I talked to 4 years ago now reaching out to me, saying, hey, look, I've heard about this again, or, my husband just lost his job, or, I just had a kid and I really kind of want to look at this again and see, because I really want to stay home with my kid. And there's all kinds of just life situations that happen that cause people to change their minds about certain things or look into other things. So much is about timing. And I had a friend the other day that reached out to me. Her skin had broken out because she's now pregnant, whereas before she had gorgeous skin and she, didn't really think she needed any products. Well, now she needed something, and so she thought of me because I've been consistent and I've been available to her and shared with her, not stressed her out and overwhelmed her by any means, but just sharing and showing what these products can do. And that's another huge thing. Make sure you give it time. Be patient. This is technically a 3 to 5 year career path if you want to exceed and have it replace your career. If you just want a couple $100s a month, you can get that very, very quickly, actually. So it really just depends on what you want it for, and then just be patient and give it time and be consistent.
Fabulous. Wonderful tip, Camille. Now, my next question before we wrap up here is, and this wasn't on the list that I sent you, but we talked about it on our training call earlier, so this is fresh in your mind. Just want to talk about social media. We kind of touched earlier into the interview just in terms of time and how, it's not necessarily about how much time you have. It's about using the time that you do have wisely and having good time management skills. And if you have just a couple of hours a week, focusing that time on those income producing activities for your business. So let's talk a little bit, just real briefly. A lot of people, as we said earlier, say, I just don't have time for something like this. Yet, as we know, the majority of Americans are in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So more people need to find the time, like you and I have, to make something like this work, right? And that's what gets me so excited each day, knowing that we have a vehicle that can really empower people in their finances. But let's talk just a little bit, a lot of people are just like, oh, I have a crazy schedule, I have a job, I have a significant other and kids and family, the list goes on. So in terms of, you and I both know that getting out and meeting people and networking and having events, those are all very important strategies in this industry. But social media also plays a very key role, and social media just keeps evolving, week after week, month after month. Talk with us just a little bit about the role that social media has played in your business, because it's, as you and I both know, it's a quick way to really impact a lot of people, and even this interview that we're doing right now is a good example of that. But share with us just real briefly about how it has helped you take your business to the next level.
So I would say 85% of my business has come from social media. And I had no idea that it was that powerful when I started. And it's been probably the #1 thing to help me with this business, because, and let me tell you, there's a right way to do it and there is a wrong way to do it. And a lot of people get so excited, and it's really not intentional, but they have just jumped on board, and oh my gosh, my computer is about to die, so I'm sorry. But you know, just sharing your lifestyle and how it's helped you, and just being able to share in 5 minutes. Actually, it probably takes you less than that. It probably takes you 1 minute to post something on Facebook and share it. And you know, just the other day we did an event with 75 people from probably 22 different states and also Canada, and it took me 30 minutes. So really, it's about leveraging your time and making your time work for you. And so social media, 100%. If you're already on there, why not make money being on Facebook? Why not? You know, people are out there selling stuff all the time. I put, hey, give me a recommendation for a restaurant in Madison, Mississippi, and I get 20 people sending me recommendations. We do it all the time. So making sure that you have good training and you know what you're doing and doing it appropriately and professionally is the biggest thing, but it is huge and anyone can do it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Camille, I know your computer is about to die, and I have taken enough time for today. I know you and I could sit here and go on and on about topics. You and I have so much fun together, and I think we need to do another future video interview and maybe talk about some of the tips and strategies that we've used to build our businesses. As we say, sharing is caring. So definitely, this has been really fun, and I hope everybody who has been watching this has gotten some good value, gotten to know both Camille and myself a little bit better. Camille, before we jump off, will you tell everybody where they can find you online? Do you have a website? Are you on Twitter? Tell us a little bit about your social media channels so everybody can connect with you beyond this video.
Absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook. It's CamilleVJones.com. I also have a website, which is also www.CamilleVJones.com. And all other profiles, Twitter, Instagram, is at Camille V. Jones. Camille, Camille, V as in victory, Jones. And I would love for you guys to follow me. We have a lot of fun.
Wonderful. Camille, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you for jumping on and spending a little bit of time with both Camille and myself. If you're not following me just yet, make sure you go and follow Camille and check out what she's up to. If you're not following me yet on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, wherever else you could be online, Pinterest, I am everywhere at Dial Krista. And my website is KristaDial.com. Make sure you swing by and say hello, drop me a note. I would love to hear from you. Guys, it's been fun. I will catch you on our next video. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.